Lacklustre, below par, and not good enough. Man City 1, Lyon 2, the full-time score from last night. I'm recording this on, what day is it today? I'm all over the place right now. It's Thursday. It's Thursday night. I've had a bit of time to process that game, that absolute shit show, to put it lightly, from last night. And we're going to talk a bit about it now. Not that I'm particularly looking forward to this video, but yeah, let's get into it, shall we? As always though guys, before we do get into it, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a big thumbs up. Not that there's going to be too much to be liking about this video, it's just going to be moaning and on a bit of a rant more than anything. But yeah, like the video if you do enjoy it. Leave your comments down below, your thoughts on where it all went wrong in last night's game. And don't forget, if you are new to the channel, click that subscribe button down below. Don't forget as well, if you did miss it yesterday, the first episode of our Man City career mode went up live. So I'll put a link to that in the description. Check that out if you haven't already. And thank you guys for your support on that so far. But yeah, talking real life, City finished full time last night, as I've just said, obviously. City 1, Lyon 2, and I mentioned it in the preview, Lyon are a dangerous team, and we just didn't seem to turn up. I don't know if we took the game for granted, but the performance simply was not there, and it was so uncharacteristic of us. Some people saying, is it because Guardiola wasn't on the touchline? Of course, he had a touchline ban and Arteta was down there. And you know what? For most managers, I'd say it doesn't make too much of a difference. But if there's any manager where that is going to influence the game, more so than normal, it would be Guardiola because of the interaction, the constant interaction he has on the sidelines with his players. But I don't think you can read too much into that, even so, to be honest. I just think it was a below par performance. And we're going to talk about where I think that performance fell flat in specific areas, so to speak. So firstly, you've got to give Lyon a lot of credit. I mentioned a few of their danger men in the preview video. We spoke about Nabil Fekir, we spoke about Ndombele, we spoke about Depay, and they all turned up. And more importantly, Lyon consistently got those players on the ball. Nabil Fekir absolutely running the show in a creative capacity, but man of the match for me was Ndombele. He was absolutely sensational in the middle of the park for Lyon. Some people had said before, including myself, that he could be a potential player to replace Fernandinho in the future, and that performance last night can only boost that thought, to be honest, because he was absolutely sensational. He was energetic, he was powerful, he was, you know, all over the park, winning the ball back, making great passes, playing calmly under pressure. He could potentially be a great Fernandinho replacement in the future. He's young as well, let's not forget, only 21 years old, I believe. So, Ndombele was sensational. You look at their defence, which is absolutely quality as well. Denayer, who came back to City, had a point to prove and had a fantastic game, partnered up with Marcelo there, just getting the ball out at all occasions. The crosses were coming in, peppering the ball into the 6-yard area, and they just kept on hooking it away, getting challenges in. And the defence, other than Raphael, who I do feel like Sane when he came in, and Sterling had on toast a little bit, were absolutely sensational. So credit has to go to Lyon first and foremost. It was a great away performance and not taking that away from them whatsoever. But when you look at where our performance fell short, I think we gave the ball away far too stupidly, far too often, and that was something that was happening a little bit in the Fulham game. So that was a continuation of that, the difference being that Lyon actually punished us. I think Walker had a very poor game, gave the ball away more than most. Stones and Laporte, I love, and I've said so many times that they need to be the future centre-back partnership for our club, but I do think all this rotation in the back line isn't good. It's not good for Edison, who needs reassurances of who's going to be in front of him. Delph didn't also had a poor game. He was at fault for the, I think it was the first goal where he just completely mistimed his clearance, but, you know, since having Mendy back, it's... Delph's not a left-back, okay? Delph is not a left-back, so I can't hold it against him too much. He did a phenomenal job last season, but it's not his natural position, and every now and then that shows. We conceded a very similar goal against United. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, I think it was, where Delph misjudged the ball and Rashford pounced on it, if I remember correctly. So Delph there being caught out again, not ideal, and the fullbacks just did not have great games. Whenever they got the ball out from Edison, they were too slow with it to get it forward, and no one really wanted the responsibility of carrying the ball further forward, and that comes to the midfield now, which I think was a big problem area last night. Fernandinho, I mean, nobody had a great game. Let's not get that twisted straight away. Nobody had a great game. Fernandinho is pretty average. Gundogan, man, what does he bring to the table sometimes? Sometimes I watch him and he'll do all right, he'll do okay. But sometimes I watch him and I think, what do you bring to the table, Gundogan? He had an awful game last night, I thought, and that is a problem. He has an awful game far more often than he should, and he's someone that a team at our level, he shouldn't be putting in performances like that on a regular basis. And already on a couple of occasions this season, he has been way, way under par in my opinion. So Gundogan, I was very, very disappointed with. David Silva had a quiet game and wasn't very influential, which is very unlike him. And I think one thing that did pull us through in the Fulham game last week was the fact that him and Bernardo had that great relationship in the middle of the park, and that was broken up when Bernardo was pushed out wide. So that sucked. That wasn't great. So maybe that's something we should see more often, and perhaps just Sterling, Sane or Mahrez, whatever, on the wings, and bring Bernardo back into the centre, because I do feel like, although he does okay on the wings usually, he thrives far, far more in the centre of the park, even on a defensive standpoint, where you expect Gundogan to be a little bit stronger. Bernardo just seems to be a bit quicker to get in there, a bit more nipping at the heels, that kind of stuff, where the game just seemed to pass Gundogan by last night. He was so, so poor. Front three, Jesus was non-existent pretty much, but he did make the runs. It wasn't for a lack of trying. The service just was not there for him. Sterling, probably our best performer until he came off, in my opinion. You know, some people will say he gave the ball away too frequently, but he keeps on trying and running at defenders, which is a lot more than a lot of the players for us did last night. There was a lot of going back, which was really disappointing. Bernardo was on the left. Excuse me, as I've already touched upon, I think he does so much better in the centre, and I think the fact that we took him out the wing just showed how much more influential he can be in the middle of the park. So, although he's not bad when he plays on the wing, again, he just does so much more with the ball in the middle. So, he didn't have a great game, but that's a sign for me. And him and David Silva do seem to have that relationship, as I've already touched upon. When Sane came on that left-hand side, made a world of difference, but it was too little too late, really. And, you know, he was influential for the goal, but it was too little too late. So, what do I take away from that game? We need to get a settled back four. We need to stop rotating as much. Consistency needs to be a big part of what we do. I mean, I know we have to rotate a little bit because of the amount of fixtures that are going to come over the season, hopefully with us being in lots of competitions, but particularly the back four, we need to try and get a settled back line, in my opinion, and that's not something that's happened so far. So fingers crossed that's something we can achieve in the long term. Midfield, we needed more energy. Bernardo needed to be in there, in my opinion. Gundogan was just nowhere near good enough, and in the front three, we just weren't quick enough. We were not quick enough, and we were too lackadaisical when we got forward. Gave Lyon a chance to get men behind the ball and gave them the chance to clear time and time again. It just was not good enough. I think in the game at the weekend now against Cardiff, you're going to see a more traditional lineup, and by that I mean I think you're going to see David Silva, Fernandinho and Bernardo back in the centre, who we played against Fulham. I think you're going to see Sane starting again, because once more he's come back into the team. He had a great game against Fulham and was excellent when he came on last night. One of the few players that can come out of that with the head held high. Aguero's got to start again, hasn't he? I mean, Jesus is a young player with a lot of talent, and I do think he deserves to get game time. But when you don't score, the lineup that we can put out there, you're always going to be under threat of losing your spot as a striker. So Aguero's more than likely going to come back in. Right-hand side's got to be Raheem again. Mahrez again came on, and although he wasn't poor, didn't do enough to justify dislodging Sterling from the team, I don't think. And I want the back four to be settled, even if it means playing Stones in the Laporte game, despite the fact that we conceded 2. Do it. Play Walker again at right back. I know he was below par, but that's very unlike him. It was a one-off game, hopefully. Left back needs to be Mendy again if possible. There's talk of the fact that I don't think he'll be fit for the Cardiff game, unfortunately. And Delp again seemed to pick up a little bit of a knock throughout the game. And although he played on, he's not looking fully fit, and there's an error in him right now, unfortunately. So that's something that might need to change. Perhaps even if it means bringing Zinchenko in. I mean, excuse me again, I seem to have something in my throat. I don't know if it's something that needs to change long term. Excuse me, flipping out. But yeah, Delph just not good enough. And with the injury he's got as well, maybe it's worth bringing Zinchenko into that role. Sane needs to start. Sterling needs to start. Aguero needs to start. And with that front three, I think we can win any game, particularly away at Cardiff. No disrespect to Cardiff. It's going to be tough. They're going to put a shift in. They're going to make it tough for us. But you'd expect us to be able to get through that back line with those front three attackers. So I hope that's the case. David Silva can't be as poor as he was against Cardiff. I refuse to believe that, because he's so consistently up there. I don't think he can have a game that poor again. So hopefully he'll be able to come through and bounce back from it. But all in all, low energy performance, not good enough, and we need to do better at the weekend. So there were some of my thoughts on the game last night. Like I said, a bit of a rant, but I hope you guys did enjoy it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game and where it went wrong in the comment section down below. Heads up as well, I will be uploading episode 2 of the Man City FIFA career, hopefully within the next 24 hours. If you don't see it on Friday, you will 100% see it Saturday. Being at work, I mentioned this when I started the channel, it's not a chance for me to upload daily all the time, and it's been a very busy period this week. So if it's not out tomorrow, apologies, I'll do my best to get it out on Saturday. But yeah, that's going to end off this video. Like I say, very disappointing. Hopefully we can bounce back. We need to make sure we bounce back, because Fulham was below par despite the fact we got the 3-0 win. There were some weak performances in there and we could have been punished. And Lyon punished us. Like I said, Lyon punished us. So hopefully we can bounce back against Cardiff. I can't help but feel that Guardiola will be ripping into the players to make sure that does happen. But yeah, let's hope that is the case, guys. I'm keeping the faith. It's not a crisis. Nothing to panic about. It's just a couple of below par performances of the ridiculously high bar that we've set. So hopefully we'll be okay against Cardiff this weekend. Fingers crossed. But that's going to end off the video, guys. Thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And I'll catch you all next time. Nidge out.